Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about a brand new series called What If Deku Was in Infinite Stratos. So if you don't know what is Infinite Stratos, is basically like your typical harem anime, but except there's things known as ISs, which are basically like let's just say they're basically like robot partners, which they transform into basically or for these characters, like for example um Hoki Shinonono and her IS the um I think it was the Yakushiki, I think. So yeah, so let us just begin the video. So in this world, well, people still have quirks, but girls only have the ability to basically use ISs. They're only allowed to use ISs, unfortunately. So men are mostly equated to being heroes or well being policemen or doing other types of jobs. While for women, they would sometimes either be heroes or become IS users. So wait for a second, guys. Because of that, men are sometimes mostly equated to mostly those jobs that I just told you last time. So in Izuku's case, well, Izuku's parents, Izuku's parents were dead. One of them was killed in a car accident, and the other one, when Izuku was born, Inko died. So, Izuku has been living with his grandfather. So, his grandfather was Italian, and Izuku is technically half Italian because his mother is purely Japanese, and his father is purely Italian. Because of that, Izuku was sometimes told by his other classmate that he should say either "Mamma Mia" or something like that. Even some telling him to basically make pasta for them. Izuku is sometimes mad at this, but most of the time he just allows it. Izuku is friends with two people, but both of them just move back to their own countries, or for the other one goes back to to her her old town, which they were Kendo Shinonono and Bakugo. Wait for a sec. Bakugo Lin Ying. So yeah, those are Kendo and Bakugo's last names because I decided to basically pick characters from My Hero Academia and place them in the role of the different girls from Infinite Stratos, or in this case the harem that Izuku is going to make. So so his first childhood friend, Kendo Shinonono, well she absolutely loved martial arts. Izuku also trained in that as well, but after she moved away because of her sister named Melissa Shinonono, and yes, Melissa's going to be Kendo's sister. Well, she created the IS unit, which she had to move back to her old town. And for well Bako Ling Ying, well, she had to move back to China where she actually lived. Izuku was alone, but Izuku still had his grandfather. But his grandfather got into an accident. Apparently, some IS users, basically from a terrorist group, basically killed them. Izuku was now alone. Izuku now alone. Well, he now lives in a junkyard. That junkyard is filled with several machinery, including most of the machine are basically IS parts, infinite stratos like IS parts, like for example broken arms, um broken ISs, even some weapons. Izuku lived there with his foster father. His foster father was a friend of his grandfather, and he wanted to have a child, but apparently his wife, well, she can't make a baby because, well, she was infertile. So because when Izuku's grandfather died, he decides to take care of Izuku just like his own, if he were to be his own child. So Izuku basically learned how to basically take up scraps, like for example like a broken IS unit, and fix it. Izuku sells them on, let's just say an unsavory, place, basically the black market. So Izuku basically breaks down several parts of, IS units, and basically sell them off to, sketchy people. Most of them from, different terrorist organizations, even some that are villains. Some of these villains absolutely loved Izuku because of his, talent for, well, getting them the stuff they needed for, their IS units. So it's, a few years ever since, Izuku's grandfather died, and Izuku is now, wait for a second, Izuku is now 12, which Izuku, well, Izuku mostly preferred to just be alone because, he's currently always busy, and I mean always busy at making, making requests for, pretty dark people in the black market. And also, by the way, this is going to be an 18 plus series, which I'm allowed to swear, so thank fucking God. So, YouTube, I said this is 18. This is an 18 video, so don't basically, delete it from existence. Okay, good. So anyway, so Izuku is basically getting some parts for, some sketchy people. Apparently, they wanted some broken IS units. One, jewelry form. I'm just gonna say it because, they have two different forms for an IS. One is just a disguise form, or I like to call a jewelry form, which they take the form of, either earrings, rings, or something similar. And for Izuku's case, he starts looking around for, mostly ring IS units. Izuku found a necklace one, which Izuku decides to, um bring it to the sketchy people. So when Izuku goes to the black market, one of the people, being a guy with, black hair, says this. So you already got it? As Izuku says, yes, ma'am. As she says, thanks. Now, these are broken, right? As Izuku says, yeah. As she says, okay, good. I'll just tell my boss to basically tell another guy to repair it. Izuku says, alright, I'll be going now. As she says, hey kid. Izuku says, what? She says this. Are you Italian by any chance? Izuku says, yeah. Why? As she says this. Well, me and my friends recognize your face. Apparently, you're the son of, I believe, wait for Alexander Al Capone, right? Izuki says, you mean my grandfather? As she says, oh yeah, Mr. Al Capone. He was an old client of ours. And not only that, he's one of the best mafia members ever. In fact, he's even the leader of his own mafia mob. Izuku says, wait, what? As she says, yeah. Anyway, so my associates told me that if he were to have a grandchild, he said that he wants to give this to you. Apparently, it's this. So Izuku gets the box that his grandfather supposedly told the guys to basically, well, keep it until he gets a grandchild. As Izuku gets it, it's a black box with, well, a symbol of a goat, a lion, and a snake. Or at least what he thinks is a snake. Izuku thinks it's a dragon or something, he can't tell. So, Izuku says, thank you, miss. As she says, no matter. Anyway, I'll be leaving. Bye. So, she leaves as Izuku goes back to his workshop slash, well, junkyard. Where Izuku met his, grandfather's friend. Which he says this. Hey, Izuku, are you going to be, well, resting now? It seems that you're really tired. Izuku says, I'm not tired, Gramps. As he says, I'm not a I'm not an old man, you know that. Izuku says, whatever. I'll be going back inside. As he says, fine. Just go to sleep early. So wait for a second, guys. So Izuku goes into his large facility where he creates several of these weapons so he can sell. It's basically just a warehouse. Izuku opens it. Izuku sees the box contains a weird looking IS. It's a bracelet, but the IS is in the shape of a goat's head, or goat skull to be precise. Izuku says this. Interesting. Maybe I should sell it. Izuku thinks. As Izuku sees a note. As Izuku checks out the note, as it says this. Dear Izuku, if you found this, legendary box, I want you to have it. It contains an IS, which I call... This IS is called Librido. This IS can, allow both boys and girls to use, but I'm only giving it to you because you're absolutely wonderful when I first saw you. When I first saw you, you're absolutely adorable. And that is why, when I die, I want you to have it. And not only that, I want you to wield it. I want you to bring justice to this godforsaken world. I want you to destroy these horrible people that want to destroy Hero Society, and not only that, the IS community in general. So, I hope to see you soon, Izuku. P.S. This IS is able to basically, well, well, wait for a second, control, metal, just like your quirk. And if you don't know, Izuku's quirk is called metal manipulation, which is able to manipulate metal. Izuku looks at the letter, and when he finishes reading it, Izuku says this. I'm just guessing that my father is just senile. I met my grandfather. There's no way that a boy like me can ever use an IS. And besides, ISs are only for girls. And also, by the way, guys, Izuku, um, well, he doesn't go to high school at all. And you know why? Because, Izuku, um, well, high school reminds him of his two best friends back in the day. So Izuku just wants to forget about it. So that is why Izuku never ever wants to go to high school ever again. So when Izuku was basically looking at it a little bit closer, well, wait for a second again. The IS is not only shaped like a goat skull, it's also half, well, maroon or crimson, and the other side is pure white. Izuku says to himself, What a weird looking IS that my grandfather made. Or at least what his coworkers made. Maybe I should try this. Engage. Labrida. I meant Labrido. As he starts transforming, his the his body starts swirling. As in swirling, I mean this dark energy starts swirling around them. This purple and maroon slash crimson color starts swirling around them as his IS activates and covers his whole body. Izuku says, "What in the?" As Izuku leaps up, the his IS contains Izuku looks at his arm, or at least one of them. One of his arms is just a gigantic claw with sharp nails. His feet are basically almost like animalistic. His IS anyway. He's also wearing a mask. As Izuku looks at one of his shoulders contains a floating skull. As in floating skull, I mean a floating shield, shoulder pad, which resembles a goat skull, but color crimson, and has a mane, or at least what he thinks is a mane. The mane is color purple and contains the weird looking purple energy that coursed around him. His IS is also pure silver. Izuku says, wait. Izuku says, interesting. So my father is a, I meant, so my grandfather isn't senile. Interesting. As when Izuku deactivates it, Izuku tells himself, so it is possible to use AIS if you're a boy, or at least only this one. I like this IS. So Izuku keeps wearing the IS on his arm as his uncle says this, or his grandfather friend says this. He says this, "Hey, Izuku, it's time for dinner." And Izuku says, "Alright, I'm coming here. I'm coming over there, old man." So Izuku sighs. Izuku starts going over there as Izuku sees his um well his legal guardian basically says this. He basically says this in front of his wife. Yes. Izuku, would you like to go back to high school? Izuku spits out his food as Izuku says, "No thanks. I would never go back to school. And besides, I'm already smart enough." As he says, "Izuku, you need to go to school." Izuku says, "Whatever. And besides, you're not my real parents, so I don't really give a." Izuku stops as his 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 friends I meant his grandfather's friend's wife says this. "Izuku, I'm worried about you." Izuku says, "I do not care. Just leave me alone." So Izuku goes back to his room and basically goes into his bed. Izuku basically goes to sleep. So yeah, the next day comes as it's basically like the start of the anime. Izuku is walking around the city looking for the the person that he's gonna be giving this weapon to. It's an IS weapon where it's basically like a gigantic blade, like a how do I say it? It's basically like a large broadsword. So Izuku sees a back alley. Izuku comes in. As Izuku sees the woman. The woman says this. "So, you're the guy that's gonna be giving me my brand new weapon, right?" Izuku says, "Yeah." Wait for a second. As she says, "I never thought that I would ever talk to a shorty like you." Izuku says, "Shorty? You know I'm older than you." As she says, "Really? Then how old are you then?" And also, by the way, Izuku is now 13. As Izuku says, I'm 13, you idiot. As she says, oh, well, I'm 11, so. Anyway, just give me the weapon. So she turns on her IS and she says, I like this weapon. Not bad. So, me and my girls are gonna be taking down this, well, this hero. So, I'll be going now. Bye. So, you start flying off. As for Izuku, he gets out of the back alley and goes to, to a convenience store so he can get some food. So, wait for a second. When Izuku was ordering his food, Izuku goes on a rooftop. I'm at a rooftop where Izuku is basically eating his food. In the rooftop, Izuku is basically looking over the city. Izuku thinks in his mind, the city is quite peaceful, but unfortunately there's corruption. So, Izuku, while looking at there, Izuku hears something behind him, and it's All Might, cladded in her IS, known as the Byakushki, as she says this, oh, hello kid, my name is All Might. As Izuku says, oh, you're All Might. As she says, I thought you would be surprised that the number one hero of of Japan is basically here. Why are you not excited? Izuku says, I've seen lots and lots of IS users. As she says, well, I'm the number one as Izuku says, please be quiet, I'm eating my lunch. As she says, okay. Anyway, um, have you seen like a villain? She had like a broadsword. She also has an IS. It's color black. Izuku says, a black IS. Don't know. As she says, all right, I'll be leaving. So she jumps over as she starts flying off. So wait for a sec. So Izuku, after eating, Izuku throws it over the how do I say it, the rooftop. As one person gets well well he basically gets knocked out because of the cup. The cup is not well made out of plastic. It's actually made out of metal. So he gets knocked out as Izuku says, oh shit. As Izuku starts running because he might have killed a person. So when Izuku goes down the stairs, Izuku hears explosions. So Izuku basically to the place where there's explosions as Izuku sees the villains, including the one that Izuku gave the broadsword, and they're fighting some heroes. One is All Might and another one is, well, it's a girl with a purple IS, but she starts growing to a humongous size, and her IS basically transforms into a gigantic, ornament or something, as she uses her fist to basically crush the ground. As she says, "All Might, try and help me out." As she says, "All right, Mount Lady." So she basically brings out her sword as All Might starts charging in and basically using well all I meant all for one. She creates a slash, saying, "Almighty Slash." As the slash is one of the villains, it basically defeats her. But the villain with the broadsword starts laughing because she says this. Now allow me to show you what this weapon can truly do. This weapon, the broadsword starts opening up like a how do we say it? It starts opening up like a real gun as it shoots out a beam well of green energy as it smashes through All Might and Mount Lady. And she says, "Dang it! Oh no, it's my fault that I gave her that weapon. Dang it!" Ugh. Izuku thinks about it. Izuku says, Wait, I have my own IS. So, Izuku activates his IS Librida. I meant Librido. Izuku activates it as Izuku is, well, kind of concerned because he doesn't have a weapon except for those gigantic claws. As in claws, I mean claw because he only has one arm that has a gigantic claw. Anyway, Izuku checks his body out, but not in that way. As Izuku finds something like a pole, as Izuku basically pulls on it, as it starts extending, transforming into a large scythe. Izuku says, "Guess you have to do." So Izuku, while wearing the IS, it also comes equipped with a mask. So Izuku jumps down as everybody sees Izuku in his Librido IS as one of the people there, which is a a woman with another IS. She says this, "Who the heck are you, kid?" As she says, I meant as the other one says, "Now this will be fun. I can't wait to beat you," says the girl with the broadsword that Izuku gave. Izuku says this. And thanks to the IS mask, it allows Izuku to basically talk in a different voice. This different voice it basically sounds darker, like really deep. And not only that, it's also able to change the voice of the it has a voice changer in the mask, so Izuku is able to like change his voice. So, because of that, Izuku changes his voice to basically sound a little bit more manlier. Izuku says, "Now you're gonna pay." As everybody hears that, they say, "Wait, um, what the heck? Is he some sort of like vigilante?" Izuku starts charging in with his scythe. As Izuku slashes a little bit of the villain, as she says, "Really, take this." She fires out a blast from her from her railgun, but Izuku dodges it pretty easily. Izuku tells to himself, "Well, this IS is pretty fast." Izuku thinks in his mind, "Do I have any any ranged weapons?" Izuku checks out the side of his his skirting armor, as the skirting armor transforms into two shotguns. Izuku says, "This is fine." Izuku jumps towards her, using his shotguns to basically shoot at her. Her IS starts breaking a little bit as she says, "Dang it!" as Izuku kicks her right in the jaw. As she gets knocked out, Izuku says, "Ugh, that was easy." As Izuku starts getting electrocuted from the back, Izuku says, "What in the living hell?" Izuku starts blacking out. But before he can get black out, Izuku sees a woman with black hair, but something is more distinct to her. She has red eyes and really bad eye bags. Like she literally looks like she didn't even sleep for like a week. As Izuku blacks out, Izuku was feeling that he's being transported somewhere. So yeah, that will be the end of the episode. So yeah, so I hope you're going to like this series, and if you want to comment down below, um, well, if you like this series, just comment down below. And also, before you leave, guys, I want you all to subscribe to me because you can see more content early with the subscribe button. So just click the button and you'll be set. So because please, I just want views. Anyway, so I hope you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.